This is a video of me. Right now, I am miles away from my studio. I'm showing you my phone. On my phone, I am controlling an Agentic AI that is in its turn controlling my computer. This Agentic AI has selected all the B-roll you see in this video. It created folders to organize all this B-roll so I can start editing. And it has even drafted emails to my close friends to ask for feedback. If you were in front of my computer right now, you would see it creating folders, opening files, and browsing the internet for interesting articles, just the way I would. This is my first contact with an Agentic AI. Let me explain. Right now, AI is split into two categories. You can ask it something, and it says something back, or you can ask it something, and it acts. It does something. And this isn't something new. It became possible on the consumer level quite a while ago. But amidst all the headlines, the tech lawsuits, and the chaotic news cycles, this breakthrough somehow got buried. Right now, almost 1 billion people use the most popular chatbot, but only a tiny fraction of that number use the most popular Agentic AI. Why this massive discrepancy? Why aren't more people using them? Why aren't you using them? And how can you get started? What is the full tutorial? Okay, so in order to answer all these questions, we need to answer this one specific question first, so please bear with me. This is the first thing I asked my Agentic AI Cloud Code once I got it set up. Create me a file that says hello world. Basic, right? But why? Why did I ask it that? The answer might surprise you. And it turns out that throughout history, this is what humans have always done at first contact with a new technology. Chapter 1. A timeline of first contact. Let's start at the beginning. Our first communication with a machine. 1876. Mr. Watson, come here. I want to see you. Scottish inventor Alexander Graham Bell spends years developing his latest project, the telephone. When it finally worked, he spoke through a crude metallic funnel to his assistant in the next room. Mr. Watson, come here. I want to see you. Notice the irony here? He just created a device so he would be able to speak with somebody far away, and the first thing he said was, "Can you come be next to me?" He wanted him close because the experience was so alien. For the first time in human history, language was detached from a living throat, transmitted through a wire, and a new media space was born. Fast forward nearly a century later to 1969. Hello, ARPANET, the precursor of the internet. Scientists in California are trying to send the very first digital message from one computer terminal to another, more than 300 miles away. They try to type the word login. They type the L, then the O, and then the entire system crashes. And this was the first internet message. Notice how this time, we're not reaching for another human. This first contact is almost as if we're trying to enter a new space or being welcomed by the system itself. Then comes 1978 and the original Hello World. A computer scientist named Brian Kernighan writes an internal memo at Bell's Labs for a new programming language called C. To make the language approachable, Kernighan writes a tiny simple code snippet. When it runs, it forces the machine to print out a small string, Hello World.
Where did Hello World come from and why did it catch on? The first part I have vague memories and the second part I have no idea at all. My memory of it is a cartoon or something like that showed a chick coming out of an egg. And the caption was Hello World.
This time we want the machine to speak back to us. We want the machine to initiate the conversation. As years pass, Hello World becomes an absolute universal standard. We want the machine to take the first step and signal that it's ready to communicate.
In 1984, we introduced the Macintosh. It didn't just change Apple, it changed the whole computer industry.
By 1984, Steve Jobs takes it further. The Macintosh doesn't just say hello, it comes out in human handwriting. Hello, I am Macintosh. Jobs often talked about how important it was for the machine to look friendly and approachable.
You've just seen some pictures of Macintosh. Now I'd like to show you Macintosh in person.
In 1998, when Jobs returned with the iMac, the screen displayed Hello Again, a direct callback to 1984. Windows 95 follows along with their first contact moment, the famous Start button. 2003, WordPress launches, the most famous website builder. Since its inception, every single time someone installs a new WordPress site, the database automatically generates a default first blog post titled Hello World. Since WordPress powers more than 40% of the entire internet, the expression stuck in our collective consciousness. Now fast forward to November 2022, ChatGPT. Nobody can really pinpoint what the exact first contact with ChatGPT was, but the internet often refers to some of the most common first prompts people used. Write me a poem, tell me a joke, and are you alive? Chapter 2. Why? It is often said that our first contact with any new technology says more about where we are at that point in time than it does about the machine itself. We started by trying to communicate with another person, then we tried to access the machine's environment, and now we're trying to make the machine an active part of the conversation. We also try to humanize these machines. Everyone fears this. Sci-fi warns us not to try to project human emotions into inanimate objects, but we still do it, and there's a massive psychological reason why. The Canadian philosopher Marshall McLuhan noted that whenever we're faced with a terrifying new invention, we try to adapt to it by assimilating it with old familiar technology. It's why the first cars looked exactly like horse wagons, and why films look like stage plays, and why car manufacturers add engine noises to electric cars, although electric engines are built by default silent.
And many people, of course, have developed this power in the electric age. They are so embellished or so flooded with data, with information, that they tend to protect themselves by switch off.
We need the comfort of the past in order to adapt the tools of the future. I really love how Don Norman, the pioneer of user design, approaches this with the idea of conceptual models. Think about your phone. You know that this green app makes a call, and this yellow app opens your files. They use a symbol of an old landline receiver and a physical manila folder to signal how you should use them. You aren't actually clicking a physical folder, you are triggering thousands of lines of code that sort through your data. But thinking about it as a file makes it easy for you to use it.
Feeling in control, which includes usability and understanding.
What is even crazier is that kids born after 2006 use these apps flawlessly, even though they have never used a landline phone themselves or a physical file cabinet in their lives. For them, these symbols should be completely alien, though through step-by-step adoption, they gain an entire new meaning. Currently, Agentic AI workflows look like this, or this. Not that friendly, right? And what I'm currently showing you are the user-friendly versions. Why did I choose Hello World? Because, like McLuhan said, I wanted something that felt familiar, and Hello World is a phrase associated with websites, iPhones, and other things I'm comfortable and familiar with. It's anchored in my conceptual model, and it lets me adapt quickly. But there is a second reason, and it comes from the work of MIT researcher Justin Cassell. She talks about the fact that the silly things we do, like saying hello world, asking our AI questions with please and thank you, are actually incredibly important.
This young girl was just diagnosed with autism, with high-functioning autism. She does not have the ability to make the social relationships that allow her to learn in a classroom. To do that, we need to study child-child interaction. We've been able to show that children will reason better about science if they can form a social link.
Small talk is a non-task-oriented conversation about neutral topic, whose primary functions are to mitigate face threats, provide an initial time interval in which the interlocutors can seize each other up, establish an interactional style, and establish some degree of mutual trust and rapport. These AI agents have a terrifying halo over them. They can delete your files, they can access vulnerable data. They are physically plugged into your machine, and this is why often you need to run them in isolated environments, just the way I do with my dedicated Mac Mini. Because the stakes are so high, I feel the need to have some sort of a small chat with this AI, exactly the way Cassell describes it, in order to establish it for myself that this machine is still something that I can comprehend and I can use without so much anxiety. The main reason the majority of the world does not use yet agentic workflows is that from a design perspective, they're not quite there yet. Two other great minds, Clifford Nass and Baron Reeves, wrote a book called The Media Equation. They proved that our first biological instinct is to engage socially and naturally with new tech,
which is the individual's interaction with media, computers, television, and other media, is fundamentally social and fundamentally natural. And that's the whole thing.
Agentic AI is such a massive leap forward into the future that we're still trying to find a way to adapt to it naturally. We're still waiting for our first proper handshake. So now that you understand what drives this low adoption rate, and if you were secretly worried yourself about getting hacked or losing control, I hope that you have now full grasp of the psychology behind it and our relationship to these machines. Chapter 3. How to get started. Okay, so we're here finally at the tutorial part of this video. Hopefully right now you understand the full history and psychology about our first contact with these agentic AIs. And right now we can just approach this with confidence, not necessarily with so much fear. So without much further ado, let's just jump straight into this. Okay, quick disclaimer, what I'm going to show you does cost money. This is not free. What I'm showing you is the system that I believe is the fastest and the easiest to adapt. If you're looking to do what we're about to do right now, via some cheaper alternatives, I'm gonna add at the end of this video a couple of resources from other creators who they talk about it, and I'm sure you're gonna find something useful there. Okay, so let's get going. Step number 1, we need to get the machine. In this case, we're gonna use the Mac Mini. Can you use something else like a VPS? Yes, you can. Can you use like a gaming old PC? Yes, you can. I made an entire video you can check here about why I believe the Mac Mini is the easiest. But to give you the quick TLDR, we're gonna use the Mac Mini because number 1 is cost efficient, number 2 is energy efficient, number 3, it's very silent. It's a silent machine that you can leave 24/7 to continuously run. And number 4, it's very user-friendly, so it adapts already with all your other Mac products. Number 2, you will boot now for the first time your Mac Mini. So use like a mouse, use a keyboard. You can use any USB-C cables, plug in also like a monitor. And what you're gonna do, you're just gonna run for like the regular Mac OS setup. You can skip any sort of syncing with your iCloud, and you can also skip Apple ID. Why are we skipping this? We want this to be an isolated environment, an isolated sandbox where we can let the AI operate without the fear that it's going to access any sensitive information. Hence, this is why I don't have anything in my documents. I barely have anything in my downloads, and this is what I have on my desktop. And I want the machine to stay clean like this. Step number 3. Now, what you want to do, you want now to install Cloud Code, this desktop version. So what you're going to do, you're just going to go on Google and you're going to be looking for like Cloud Code desktop app. I already have it installed, but I'm going to show you exactly where you need to go. And what is very important, make sure that you don't rush with this. I almost got hacked as I was just going through the motions. I booted my Mac Mini and I clicked on something that looked exactly like this, but it was actually just like a sponsor post from some company that was not Cloud Code, and I almost installed something that could have like very much just ruined my machine. So make sure that you get their specific app. This is their website. This is their URL that you need to access, and then you're gonna go here and you're gonna click on this if you have a Mac Mini, and you're gonna click on this if you have like a Windows. I'll just click it now so you can see what you need to do. It's gonna come up here. It's not like a very large app. As you can see, the app is downloaded. You're just gonna click on this. You're gonna double click this, and then all you need to do is just grab this and drag it in applications. Okay, so now we're gonna give it a home. So what I want you to do is like, first of all, just open Claude on your computer. You're gonna have something that looks like this. And then what we are gonna do, we're gonna create a folder here. We're gonna call it test workspace. Make sure that you click on the right thing. You can name this whatever you want. Okay, so now this is the chat interface. What you're after is that you want to go here and you want to click here where it says code. This is how you access Cloud Code. Now you can make this large, and we're going to exit from routines, and we're just going to go to new session. Now, as you can see, we have like a number of options where we can run this from. So what you want to do is like, I'm going to change this from Ace Workspace, which is another folder I work in. I'm going to go to my desktop and I'm going to click here, Test Workspace. You're going to open this up. It's going to ask you if you trust this folder. You're going to select OK. In order for us to have first contact with Agentic AI, you need two things. An Agentic AI, and this Agentic AI needs to have a home, needs to have a place. So your Mac Mini is the entire world that Agentic AI knows about. That Agentic AI only lives on the planet Mac Mini in this case. Now, beyond the planet, you need to give your Mac Mini a home, a house where it can stay. In this case, this is what we are doing when we are using these folders. And in this case, I'm calling mine test workspace. Okay, step number 6. So we want to instruct Claude on who we are and what we do, so it can have this quick folder that is going to read all the time at the start of any session, so it doesn't waste a lot of time with useless information. Now, I'm going to drop right here an example of how you should be structuring your Claude MD. I'm going to drop also below a template that you can use for yourself, and you don't even need to create it by yourself. You can just ask Claude to create for you an MD file. And in this file, you're going to ask Claude, you're going to tell Claude everything about you, his role, your role, what you're doing, who you are, and how are you going to use Claude MD. I'm going to show you here. This is quite blurred right now just because there's some sensitive information here, but pretty much right now on the screen, you have a template about what's going to be included in here. Step number 7, you can go now headless with your Mac Mini and Cloud Code. So for this, you can just choose System Settings. You can go into Screen Sharing. For me, it's already enabled. You're gonna enable this. So you're gonna turn this thing on. And then you also want to you then are going to go here in prevent automatic sleeping on power, and then you're going to take this one on. Mine is already ticked on, but you want also to take this one on. Now, after you do these 2 steps, you will be able to actually remove your mouse and your keyboard and your monitor actually from the Mac Mini, and you could operate everything directly from your laptop. For example, even in this tutorial I'm showing you right now, I am not actually on my Mac Mini. This is just my this is my laptop, and I'm just accessing Mac Mini for screen sharing. On your laptop or on your other PC, just search for screen sharing. You're gonna get a little monitor that looks like this. You're not gonna have this because you haven't connected something yet, but you're gonna press on this thing, and you're gonna use your Apple account to just connect then to another session. So it's gonna ask if you wanna go standard or high performance. I always click high performance. You all the time select just like one virtual display. You press continue. And now you're gonna be able to access your Mac Mini in this window frame, just the way your Mac Mini would be connected to a monitor. Okay, now let's say that you want to do exactly what I showed at the start of this video, which is control your cloud instance directly from your phone. Luckily, it's very easy to do it if you are choosing Cloud Code, because their app does this automatically. So for example, you're in your session in Cloud Code, you are working from your workspace. All you need to do is just use this command, which is remote control. You're gonna see it already appears here. You just click on this, you press enter. Okay, so after you press remote control, if you go on your phone app, I'm having here just like a screen share from my phone. This is the interface and what you're gonna see for the first time when you open the Cloud app. What you want to do is press here. You're gonna go to code, and you're gonna see here this instance where you see exactly what you just chatted on your computer directly on your phone. And the best thing is that if you're on your phone, I could just type this, but it works the same from here just because I'm using a mirroring device. I can write something like create me a hello world document inside test workspace, and you can press enter. Number 1, you're gonna see my request here, or you would see it on your Mac Mini. And in the meantime, I'm here on my phone writing this instruction, and you can see right now your Claude working inside your Mac Mini. you need to press here, allow. And by the way, you can press the same from your phone. So don't worry, you don't need to like press it there. So you can see, you can just press it here. I'm actually gonna tell it, just use a simple text file for this instruction. And there you go. So in general, you will need to open an instance here on your Mac Mini first. And once you press remote control, this instance is going to become available on your phone. Now, what if you actually want to launch a chat that can make changes to your computer, in this case Mac Mini, from your phone? So instead of initializing the conversation on a computer, you can initialize it from your phone. This is what you need to do. There might be a simpler way to do it. This is just like the way I know how to do it. So you are going to go on Chrome. You're going to type anti-gravity. Now you're going to go here. You're going to press download. You're going to scroll down. And you're going to get this version. Don't get this. This is something that is not what we're after. We want to download this version over here. So just press download. It's going to load up. And then the first thing you're going to have once you load up this, you're going to get this. Okay, so what you want to do now, you will install this just normally, just follow the steps. You can log in with one of your Gmail accounts if you have one. If not, you can just create one. You're going to open the app. It's going to look something like this. Don't be intimidated. I know you don't know what's happening. I'm going to explain in a moment. You want to go on the left-hand side and you're going to go at extensions. You want to just type Cloud Code. Make sure you get the correct one. So the correct one has like 19 million downloads. Press this, click install. Now it's going to be installed. You're going to see now that you have an extra icon that has popped up on the left hand side. You're going to click here and now you can open a new session. Okay, what have we just been doing? So what is anti-gravity? What is it useful for? So we're going to make another video about this where we're going to go in more detail, but just think back about like my analogy. So you have an Agentic AI, Cloud Code, right? And it has its own world, its own limited environment where it can operate, which is the Mac Mini. That's its entire world. Then inside that world, it has his home, which is in our case, test workspace. Think about anti-gravity as the office room inside his house. That is the best way I can describe it. It's pretty much just an interface that allows us to communicate through a different way than just using the classical interface coming from Claude. Right now, we can press here to open a new terminal. And what we want to install, it's an application, a tool for your computer called TMUX. Now, what is TMUX? Basically, TMUX allows you to open a session, and in this case, it's going to be a Cloud Code session that is going to work even if we close this. So if we turn this thing off, that session is still running. Now, we want that to happen because we want to spawn a server, and by spawning a server, we are able to use our phones to launch new sessions directly on this computer. Now, how is this working? You're going to use this code inside the terminal. It can be this terminal, or you can just type terminal, and then you're going to type this, and you're going to install TMUX. Okay, so now just follow my instruction. You're going to press here on toggle panel. It's going to open a terminal window, and what I want you to do is that you will be pressing this command, but instead of ace, you're going to say test or whatever your workspace is, and you're going to press enter. You're going to get now this green bar. This green bar means that right now you can have this session, and even if you close it off from here, it's still going to keep on running. And now what you want to do, make sure this green bar is active, is press this command, which is Claude remote control name. And then, do you see what we have here? We have a server called Test Workspace, and it has the capacity of 32 instances. Now let me show you what that means for us. Okay, so if I'm on my phone right now, in the Cloud Code session, we can press here. We then are able to click here, and you're gonna see that you have now this spawn server activated where you can open up to like 32 conversations. And then you're gonna click here, add new session. Okay, so I'm gonna show you now another example directly on my phone so you can see exactly how this still works, although all my applications on this computer are turned off. So my Claude is turned off, anti-gravity is turned off, and now I'm just going on my phone. I'm gonna ask Claude, hi there, create for me another file called hello world. I'm gonna press enter or tap. I'm gonna allow it to do its job. And as you can see on my Mac Mini, there's no application turned on. And if I go on Test Workspace, the new file is open. Cool. And this is something you can do from absolutely anywhere. All right, so I hope this has been interesting and also educational. I hope you can make some use of this. And if you have any other questions, please write them below. If you find this kind of stuff interesting, drop me a subscribe, and then I can just carry on doing more of this.